boy, absolutely incredible. My ghasts completely flabbered at the idea that I get to fucking stream on the first try today. There's a sound alerts update. Too bad they already didn't work. Too bad none of those shits worked in the first place. Welcome to the goddamn stream, everybody. So, for those of you who are new to Fridays, we have deck roasting as a Patreon redeem. And today, we have 7 roasts. These are the last 7 people that signed up for April. We have the May deck roasting link live on my Patreon page. If you're on Twitch, you can access that page via !roast. If you're on YouTube, I'm also Mauled on Patreon, or you should be able to find it in my channel description. I wish I was as handsome as you. Thank you very much for saying that I'm handsome, and I am sure that you are a very special person, even if you don't look this amazing. Roast the color green. That's already in everything I do, in the ways that I move, in the ways that I look, in the people I speak to. I'm always roasting green. So job done. Perseus, it does count that you were the first here. You get a little special thank you from me. Znifert, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome back to the dog home for 4 months in a row. The funny number goes up indeed. We appreciate your generosity here. Welcome back to the dog home for the 4th month in a row. Christia, I have no doubts that you're sexy as fuck. I was not denigrating you. Ken, thank you so much. I am very glad to be your favorite, and I am working hard to maintain that throne. We also just went live with today's Commander Roast, which is Jolene. So if anybody was waiting for Jolene the Plunder Queen, it's live on TikTok and YouTube now. Timberwolf, what is my single most hated card? That is tough. There's so much in this game to hate. Perseus, how dare you accuse me of not reading the chat after I said you get a special thank you for being here first? It's certainly not Cyclonic Rift. Cyclonic Rift is 100% not my least favorite. I'm trying to... No, Vorinclex is annoying. Vorinclex is annoying, but not nearly so offensive. I'm trying to think of something that is often relevant. I think it's one thing to hate a card because of what it could be, and it's another thing to hate a card because of what it consistently does to you. It's probably some type of landfall. It's probably some type of landfall bullshit. It's not farewell. I don't know that I think I've been farewelled once in an actual game. Spilled a little drink all over myself. It might be Scute Swarm. Oh, Wingdings, what's up, my goat? We need to talk more. I realize I dropped the ball on talking more with you. How was Cassius's live? Oh, you know what? Voja. This thing. Easily least favorite. Because I see it all the time. All it does is worsen the quality of games. It has yet to produce one single interesting Magic the Gathering game. It is literally just Wizards of the Coast pandering to people that actually wanted to play Army Men or wanted to play Civ 5 against bots. Ken, god damn it, Ken. God damn it, Ken. I need you to do better. Bought Commander Masters, immediately lost your money. Yeah, I mean, that's a true combo with spending money on packs. So we're gonna give the roasties a few minutes to get in here. The first person getting roasted is deceased Skyrat. Aragoon. It's gooning time. Proclaimed the king. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 on the name. That's you, Skyrat. Skyrat. You're part of the Gooning Reclamation Committee, right? You're part of the committee, right? You're not... This is the correct definition, yeah? Oh, hell yes. Alright, 10 out of 10. Rick, yes, the lists are through Patreon. You can use the command !roast. It'll pull up my Patreon page. It's a $25 reward tier. You get to submit one list every month, and then you will get an email telling you when your roast is happening. Zlaux, thank you for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome back to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate your support very much. Asking because... Alarin, I think I missed your first message. Because I see asking because I have D&D at 6. Jacob, your comment got deleted? I'm so sorry, bestie. Ilarin, I don't see you on the docket for tonight. This is also still from the April signups. This is basically all people that signed up in like the final week of April. So the emails registering people for the May signups are going to start coming out today and over the weekend, and then they're going to start next week. Ken Nerd, thank you very much for the tier 1 Twitch sub. Welcome to the dog home for the first time, my friend. Blue Like Violets, what's up? By the way, Mald, how are you doing? Given schedule changes and stuff I've heard on recent streams, just want to check in. I mean, you guys, listen. I'm doing okay. I am under a great deal of stress, as we all are, throughout our lives. My day job has been more frustrating than usual, and my, quite frankly, the numbers aren't doing as good as they used to be. And so I've been giving a lot of thought to that, and most of what I've been arriving at is I'm trying to get too many videos out and not worrying enough about making each video as good as it can possibly be. So you may even see like fewer TikTok and YouTube videos getting published a week going forward. But I'm going to do my best to make them goofy and crunchy in the way that pleases me. Because I think I've gotten a little bit too concerned with, you know, posting schedules and analytics and all that bullshit that doesn't actually matter. And that's been giving me, I think, you know, more stress than is good for someone whose job it is to be silly and goofy. St. Goddard, thank you very much for the Twitch follow. Welcome to the doghouse. But overall, I'm good. I am immeasurably lucky to be able to think of this as a job in the first place. So this is a, like, shit is great, and I'm taking steps to not let that greatness stress me out more than it needs to. Zyphil and Diochroma, thank you very much for the Twitch follows. Welcome to the doghouse. Deceased Skyrat, thank you so much for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. This is up to 20 in the channel. Welcome back to Dog Heaven, my friend. I appreciate it so much, my friend. A small contribution to the cause. Thank you. We are... Skyrat, since you're here and you are up first, we're going to get going with you. I will tell you, you are absolutely fighting uphill, even with this banger name, because I've only seen one Aragorn deck that I like. So let me go ahead and read your primer. After I thank Jordan17 for that Twitch Prime sub. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. Welcome back to the dog home for the 13th month in a row. How close am I to quitting my other job and becoming a full-time creator? That is now... I was about that close. Now that the TikTok ban has gone through and ByteDance is holding strong that they're not going to sell the app to a US company, that could change things because I get a not insignificant portion of my creator income from TikTok. And so if TikTok views goes away, I am still on the path to being full-time. But it is going to, like, you know, I've been trying to stack a lot of income streams up. And they are taking one away. Yeah, it's a setback. Ken Nerd, thank you for the 300-bit cheer. Welcome to Dog Heaven, my friend. So let's get into the primer. This is one of my 3 semi-casual EDH pet decks, the others being non-fungible Tiefling and Will Nye, the Scion guy. Alright, so your name game is A1. The goal is to play a series of seemingly harmless utility enchantments and suddenly amass the entirety of the British Imperial forces from the mid-1700s. I'll hopefully, but probably not, win by beating people to death or casting so many spells in the table's general vicinity that everybody drops dead. I'll tell you one thing. Attempting to little bean your way through utility enchantments, admirable goal, would never work on me. I've got werewolf bloodlust when it comes to enchantments. I see one, I'm naturalizing on the spot. I don't care what it is. My girlfriend can attest. Every time they've played a Bastion of Remembrance, I've just started coughing and I hack up a little blood and they're like, what's going on? And I just fucking point at that and I'm like, one of you brought enchantment removal, right? 'Cause I didn't. I never do, even though I hate them, but I will beg and shit and cry and fart in the hopes that one of you has naturalized. Ghostfacers 2625, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home. I appreciate those Bezos bucks. Alright. So Aragorn, dope art of Aragorn. We're working with $800, but it does look like we're working with nice printings. Very reasonable on the land count. You have pans to cook with. The King's Armed Forces. So we've got some generic value. We've got some generic value. We've got, alright, we've got some mana cheat hate. I respect that. Some ramp. Hey, some generic value. Oh, hey, look at that. Some generic value. Extra combats based on your legendaries dying is interesting. I do like that you're keeping this for the... I was about to say I love that you're keeping this Lord of the Rings specific. I must have forgotten about the gigantic velociraptor in Lord of the Rings. That's my bad. I did not recognize your game. I forgot about the Jurassic Park Lord of the Rings crossover movie. So we're making crazy value, lots of multicolored stuff, lots of pips. Then another, oh, this card is so fucked up. Helena and Elena are just absolutely disgusting. Like, even if you never buff Helena and Elena in a 1v1, this card, of all the things to break Lord of the Rings, I was cool when you broke it for the communist dinosaur, but for fucking the counter cheaters. All right, and then we got more dragons. We got some scry stuff going on. Then Ocherizano, Ashina, what the fuck? Why did we put... All right, hold on. What is going on here? Because here's my thing. The King's Breeding Pro... Alright, we're going to return to the King's Breeding program. So, let me double check that you did want improvements. Yes. Alright, great. I think... in any situation other than... you've cast a green spell first, this is the worst damage buff you could possibly pick. When you have cast a green spell first, it becomes okay. But in every situation, but casting a green spell first, what you're doing is you're replacing... I have several buffs for Ashenel. Alright. Alright, I'll let you cook then. Lauren, thank you very much for the $5 donation. Welcome back to your seat atop dog heaven. And Gilmain, thank you for the 2 months in a row at tier 1. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. Okay, so we have a lot of counter synergies. We have fart out humans, counter synergies. Another Aragorn. I do love your flavor commitment. The King's governmental programs. Honestly, the strongest part of your deck building is fucking is the puns. Well, the naming conventions. Yeah, this does in fact look like a counters based deck. Alright, target creatures. How many other things let you do target creatures? Okay, so Elrond's letting you do target creatures as well. Renown is letting you do it. Aeov's. Alright, alright. Broker's Ascendancy. Oh, Jesus, that is a disgusting card. Crown of a New Age. I'm gonna keep it so real, I have no idea what the fuck that says. So we're gonna go to Scryfall. What? Dawn. I can read. With a hope counter, remove a hope counter, draw a card. The white players did not deserve this shit. You have blue. You have blue. Fuck off. Alright, Karmic Justice, Impact Tremors, Hardened Scales. I'm down to keep Gimli's Reckless Might in here just as a flavor pick. It is certainly not the most effective thing you can do. This is the correct art for Defense of the Heart, so good job there. Pariah's pretty fine. These virtues things seem okay. And I want to hate you for putting Roaming Throne in this deck. I really do. I really want to shit on you because it's such a whatever, go in every deck card. But you do have the flavor line of it being the throne for the king. So you are good here, unfortunately. The ring is sick. This is, I mean, unfortunately, if you do want this to be like a strong deck, these are the two very responsible land fixing picks. Oh, we do have a counterspell. This is a trauma response. Disdainful Stroke has to be a call out for a commander that you regularly play against, or just like a win con somebody tutors for, because this is not the counterspell that you just generically put in. This is the counterspell you put in because somebody rolls up with Tivit every week. Vevictus Asmati, my behated. Choose target permanent that player controls. Ah, yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah, get around hexproof. So this person just comes in and pisses in your Cheerios every time you try to protect. You try to protect Aragorn. I am horrified that Contagion Engine is under your all reliable. I realize you probably put it in here because you have a bunch of 1/1 counter things going on. Gross. Gross that Soul Ring and Contagion Engine are. Keep it in the box for an emergency. Bah. Trees are good. I mean, I hate this tree, but it's a good tree. Flowering strong. God, 1/1 counter on everything you control is fucked up. Anduril Flame of the West. I don't even know what this does, but I'm assuming it's fucked up. Sure. Just fart out more tokens. I'm sure they won't become 5/5s instantly. Whatever. The king's bureaucratic shill. When it ETBs, you become the monarch. At the beginning of combat, if you're the monarch, they may pay X, where X is cards in their hand. If they don't, they can't attack you. That is fucked up. That is a very good card. And I am going to hope dearly that my girlfriend is not listening so that they cannot put this in every deck they own. Nothing. Nothing.
I'm gonna look at your bot anyway now.
It's no, you're not. It is it's land tax. It's land tax. It is called Champion of Minas Tirith. It's expensive. It's 6 mana, so it's definitely a casual card. But it's you become monarch at the beginning of combat on each opponent's turn. If you're the monarch, that opponent can pay X, where X is the number of cards they have in their hand, and if they don't, they can't attack you. That's bullshit. As the resident blue player, that is bullshit that y'all get that. Okay. So immediately, if we return to the primer, and specifically we return to the part that says seemingly harmless utility enchantments, we can identify you as a goddamn liar. Which one, can you tell me which one you believe to be the harmless utility enchantment? The one that lets you cheat out a creature every time you attack? The one that gives you card draw every time you play something? As foretold. The free cast one. My bad, goat. I didn't see what you were up to. That's my fault. Are these... Like, are you playing against Mystic Remora? Because then I understand how you're sliding any of these by. But the scented, seemingly harmless utility enchantments, every fucking card in this deck would have me raising my eyebrows up to my hairline. Like, War Leader's Call? People just overlook it somehow? Alright, well... Listen, if you keep beating up elementary schoolers, you're going to get into trouble. Sooner or later, it's going to happen. What I will say, from an upgrade standpoint, this is obviously a, it's a 1/1 counters deck. You have random ass Atali Primal Storm. I want you to keep that. No matter what, Atali is precious and must be protected at all costs. You can certainly afford to cut something in this deck for a Niv-mizzet. Because if we're talking about putting counters on everything you control, and we're talking about getting a bunch of bodies on board for you to put those counters on, a Niv-mizzet is both a payoff for putting lots of counters on something, and yet another thing that is making counters enter the battlefield. And we are clearly not in Lord of the Rings only, thanks to the communist dinosaur, Clifford the big red velociraptor. And a Niv-mizzet is very easily slides in to the thematic identity of the King's Armed Forces. So I'm trying to think of what else. Lord of the Rings, in my mind. There are rings in this fucking art. Is she not a lord of some energy rings? Lord of the Rings and this dinosaur we met along the way, and this plague engine we met along the way, and this ancient god from the same set I'm actively recommending to you along the way, and these anime girls we met along the way, and this random walking chair from the set I'm recommending to you we met along the way. What else? And a fucking dragon from Kamigawa we met along the way. And yet another god from the set I am asking you to take one more card from along the way. So what are we talking about? What are we talking about, Lord of the Rings in my mind? We're not departing from the theme anymore, brother. Or sister or sibling of indeterminate gender. Like, it's not... If we're gonna be gross, let's be gross, but let's not pretend that this would be a departure from the theme of the deck. Oh, and the extremely targeted counterspell we met along the way, and the second extremely targeted counterspell we met along the way, and the Teferi's protection we met along the way. My favorite part of Lord of the Rings was when Gandalf started to say, "You shall not pass," and a balding black man came out from behind the corner and said, "Actually, everything's fine," and clapped his fucking hands. That was my favorite part of the Lord of the Rings movies. And goddamn blink everything. Listen. This is still a gross deck. I have no clue. I have no clue why your table is letting you get away with this. But if they're letting you get away with this, let's get all the way away with this. And put in a Neem Pakal immediately. Because guess what? Even Roaming Throne is going to trigger a Neem Pakal. Troper, I'm sorry you missed your joke. I was in the cut. Thank you for the 100 bits. Those things were all in the long list of the Ents. Go back to the source material. My bad, Goat. I did not recognize the Ents game. I forgot that it was the long list of the Ents and dinosaurs and dragons and random black men. That's my fault. Yo, I saw Vevictus in the thumbnail. What happened? Vevictus was named as the reason Disdainful Stroke is in the deck. So Skyrat, here's my full assessment. This is disgusting, and you should feel bad. And this is clearly not a Lord of the Rings themed deck. It's clearly a King themed deck. And the 100% no fooling, no argument ad that you are missing is a Neem Pakal Thousandth Moon. If you are going to debate that on the purposes of this deck is meant to be mostly Lord of the Rings, I'm going to ask you yet again what the fuck Aurelia is doing here. So put the card in. Continue bodying people. Would Calyx Guided by Fate work with this deck? You know, there's a fair chance it might. I'm going to take the tags off. 24 enchantments? Yeah, he would. So you're also gonna put Calyx in, because he will also be putting 1/1 counters on everything, and he will let you copy the enchantments that your entire table is somehow overlooking, presumably because they are passing a bottle of Elmer's glue back and forth at the speed of thought. So you get Calyx up in there, you get a Neem Pakal up in there, and this deck explodes. I promise you. I would run out of infinite tokens immediately. Immediately, yes. Alright, from here, we are going to move on. Skyrat, thank you very much for sending in this deck. It is a pleasure. And I do love that you are working with enchantments instead of just directionless spellslinger, and I love your tag game. Your tag game is crazy. JoJo's Golden Ratio from Dude Nuke. Extravagant replication into Paradox Haze. I have this deck in cardboard, and its sole purpose is to go exponential, not infinite. Interesting. Is that a JoJo reference? LMAO, great name. Oh, what should you take out? Yeah, let me... Under no circumstances can Atali Primal Storm come out. I would say... I mean, I'm always a fan of cut Soul Ring. Especially because most of your things are, like, pip relevant rather than colorless relevant. Like, you're not trying to ramp to 8 mana. You're trying to get to, like, 4 to 6 color fixed mana and then just dump a really useful ability every turn. Other than that... I would cut AO, because we'd be replacing AO with 2 other +1/+1 counter synergistic things. So I would cut Soul Ring and AO. Pariah, as Rando's saying, Pariah does feel wimpy, but I think it's really funny to stick Pariah onto an opponent's creature, and so I'd like you to keep it just for that reason. I like Kura for like fixing your lands if you need to. A death touching blocker is great, or a big green spirit in case you run out of other bodies is all really good. So now we're gonna go back to JoJo's Golden Ratio. Akari Goldwing, thank you for calling out the rose. God damn it, Prismatic Bridge, you I'm cool. I'm cool. We're gonna fix you. We are going to fix you. Hear me out? Okay. Sole purpose, go exponential, not infinite. $569, 33 lands, immeasurably greedy land base in 5 color, but what else would I expect from one of you people? Core. Estrid's Invocation, copy an enchantment. Extravagant Replication, copy a permanent. Finale of Revelation, blue stuff, Paradox Haze, upkeeps. I wonder why you might like that. Replicating Ring, I wonder why you might like that. Upkeep synergies. So you want to kill people through starvation. That's immediately what I'm getting. Immediately what I'm getting is that your desired win con is for everybody else to starve to death while you resolve upkeep triggers. Till your next turn, things can't attack you. Read the primer. We pillow fort till we are required to pay rent. This is 100% casual. Goal is to build exponential upkeeps every turn and pack as much upkeep synergy into the deck as possible. Note, Bucket Lands Oracle text allow for exponential mana. So you are here to be gross. That sure does deal with upkeeps. So does that. So does that. I mean, first and foremost, as Chad is already saying, Obeka needs to get in here yesterday. So your untap phase is different than your upkeep phase, as far as I know. I am not a rules expert. Oh, Oracle. Never mind. You already covered this. Read the Oracle text. You already did this. At the beginning of your upkeep. Yeah, if it's tapped, put a storage counter. All right. Yeah. Fixed my inability to read. Send trip, just fucking rudeness. Yeah, lots of Pillow Fort. Windborn Muse. Lots of fixing lands. This is a good, honest, hardworking win con. So's that. So's that, honestly. Sure. Bad. Yeah, hey, you know what? I think this is my favorite Prismatic Bridge deck ever. Because you have, unlike most Prismatic Bridge players that just sort of stuff in like as many random good spells as possible, you do have a thing you're working towards. And you do have a couple things where when you get them, you will free everybody from purgatory pretty much on the spot, which is more than I can say for the rest of your ilk. So I am inclined to give you a little bit of props for really what looks like Wizards' inspiration for new Obeka. Like, it seems like somebody played against this and then tweeted about it, and a Wizards employee saw it, and they were like, we gotta get our girl on this. I mean, your card draw is horrible. I will say, I believe it to be... Oh, this is disgusting. You can just fully deck yourself with this, huh? Because it's at the beginning of upkeep. Draw for each counter on. Yeah, you need Obeka. Honestly, the other thing you need is you need initiative in this deck if you don't already have it. Because that's the tech that... That is the tech that Obeka is focused around. Which is... Get... You know, venture into the Undercity or whatever, and then just loop through that over and over. Charge counters to gain life. Starfield of Nyx. This is the first... Nah, MLP, you do not recognize their game. This is actually God's perfect Prismatic Bridge deck. They have outs. They have clearly defined outs and a way to get there. This is astounding to me. 15 basics is also incredibly fucking... I mean, you need more lands. First of all, you definitely need more fucking lands. Do you have any, like, ramp or fixing? I don't think you do. Oh, sorry. 4 cards. My fault, goat. My fault, goat. Honestly, I'm so with this deck for everything but the mana base. This is like a 5-star... No, this is like a 3-star Michelin restaurant menu that you are attempting to cook on one 2x4 with a Boy Scouts of America fire starting kit. Like, that is this deck. Is you have something that is just so silly to let play out, and it seems the way you've decided to make sure it's casual is to surgically remove your own toenails. Once replicating ring pops off, mana doesn't matter. Me, once I get 8 upkeeps after resolving 1 card in my deck, that's honestly my bad. Honestly my bad. I neglected to think about once you get 8 upkeeps after finding 1 card in your 99. Are you out here gambling for your replicating ring? Are you out here diabolic intenting for this fucking replicating ring because you do not have your 4th color on turn 7? Because that's what I see happening. Yeah, me when I Vandal Blast. This is honestly, this is like if Usain Bolt rolled up to like a YMCA track meet and they were like, you can't possibly compete here, it's gonna be too powerful, and he just took a nail and hammered it into his own fucking foot and just went, there, now it's fine, now it's cool. This is Usain Bolt completing in Quap. Yeah, somebody handed Usain Bolt a Xanax and then he went to go bust some laps at the local high school. This is what you are showing to me right now. Because this deck is fundamentally hilarious. This is fundamentally hilarious. My table is watching. Don't tell them about artifact wives. You guys, Vandal Blast. You guys, this thing. Meltdown right now. Yeah, so MLP, the meme of this deck is you are trying to, this is like, this is new Obeka before Obeka existed. It's trying to get as many upkeeps as possible. And then it has a bunch of value triggers for upkeep. But it has things like you can get infinite mana basically into Door to Nothingness, into Helix Pinnacle. You can steal shit. You can Triskaidekaphobia everybody to death. You can Faithbound Judge people to death. You can deck yourself with Walking Archive. You can basically go infinite on life. I would also... This may spread the deck too thin, since it does seem very, very focused on getting your upkeeps. This guy may be silly since you do have a couple instances of life gain. And so if you feel like you are regularly able to get to like 1,000,000 life, that could be sorry, not infinite, exponential. Non-deterministically high as fuck. Is there a lithoform engine? There is not, and that would be good if we did not need to cut things for lands. Are people really playing fucking 32 lands? No, they're playing 33. I mean, I would cut Sterling Grove. Don't be a fucking coward. Or I guess it's a tutor too. I'll let you keep it for the tutor of this. Yeah, Ring of 3 Wishes is really mana hungry for a deck that is never getting its mana. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you control 6 or more lands, that's pretty fucking aspirational of you. 6 or more lands? I believe you. Listen. I believe you. I just don't think it's ever happened. Is Merit Lage's Slumber gonna happen? Oh yeah, you don't even have snow permanents. Hold on. Is it just Replicating Ring? Is the only way to get Merit Lage's Slumber off stop stop saying, don't say Replicating Ring in all caps. Like that's like, no, you guys, 1 card in the 99. Listen to me, you guys. 1 card in the 99. Once it sticks around for 8 upkeeps. Listen to me, you guys. And, by the way, that doesn't get you to 10 snow permanents. It gets, oh sorry, it gets you to 9 and then Merit Lage is the 10th. Jesus Christ. No, it just has to go off, it just has to go off once. Because you have the original Replicating Ring, you make 8 tokens, and then you get Merit Lage's Slumber. Bro is trying to get Exodia. I just need, like... Why the fuck is this tagged ramp? This is even... Wait, I didn't read any of these. This is so much worse. This is so much worse than I thought. Hold on. Court of Bounty is ramp, which is land from hand to field as if you have one. Sphere of Safety. Nothing to do with ramp. Spikefield Hazard is just a multi-faced card. Venture Forth. The only ramp spell you have. The only one. I love it. Yeah, I would get land tax for sure. Because if nothing else... Let's see. Hey, upkeep synergy. Upkeep synergy, and you're immediately set. Chaotic Evil and anybody else who's interested, you get your deck roasted by signing up for my Patreon, which is either linked in my YouTube channel description or will be linked on Twitch if you use the command !roast. So yeah, I would do land tax. I would also do that's a plains card, so it's kind of tough if you have... It doesn't look like you have a lot of, like, good fixing lands. Yeah, you sure don't. So I would not do Claim Jumper. This is also plains. What does... I don't know which Nyxborn chat's talking about, so I'm trying to look through and find one. I don't think the Behemoth is necessary. It's also crazy to not have... I guess if you own this in paper, maybe this is just a really expensive card. Yeah, this is $4. World Tree would be worth it even with no gods. And we have no Chromatic Lantern either. Chromatic Lantern is an easy get. Like, just replace Commander's Sphere instantly with Chromatic Lantern. Yeah, pre-game action would be pretty sick. Having all your mana fixed, pretty sick. So the only thing I would change about it is fix your goddamn lands. Get rid of Soul Ring. Fix your goddamn lands. This one's also good. To be fair, Leyline wasn't out when I built this deck. Alright, you get a pass on that one out of the 15 changes. We are down to 14. I'm not actually that up on this guy unless you're trying to landfall. I understand that he does the fixing. I do not think you want to take any more away from all of the enchantment synergies. It is good, but I don't think it has so many tutors that I don't think it needs that many changes, because the tutors can go get things, and being able to play additional landfall is not possible when you only have 33 goddamn lands, because you will not have any in your hand. We're gonna keep it going. Dude Nuke, thank you so much. I love the name. I unironically do love this Prismatic Bridge deck, and I am probably going to proxy myself a copy and make those edits I told you about, because this looks legitimately fun to play, which I have never ever said about a Prismatic Bridge deck. Niv-mizzet and his 2-color goon squad. I gotta say, it warms my heart to see so many members of the Gooning Reclamation Committee. And for anybody that doesn't know, if you're watching this Twitch stream right now, look into my internet eyeballs, you are now a part of the Gooning Reclamation Committee. It doesn't matter if you close the stream right now, it's too late. Your business card is in the mail. So, my problem with Gooning, is I think the definition of it as currently told by the internet is fucking stupid. The actual definition of gooning is to act in a manner consistent with the character of Henzi Toolbox Tori, God's favorite gooner. He is our prophet, I am his... No, sorry. He is our God, I am his prophet, I am his voice. And so when you goon somebody, you are treating them in a way Henzi Toolbox Tori would. When you goon in your room late at night to anime music videos, you are just doing a little dance in the same way Henzi Toolbox Tori would. And that is all. So welcome to the war, every last one of you. What if we goon to Henzi? Darkend, that sounds like you're using goon in the wrong definition, and that is a thought crime. That is a thought crime. Alright, so Niv-mizzet and his 2-color goon squad. I've wanted to build a deck similar to this for some time. When I came back to Magic, after taking a few years off from playing, I saw the funny narcissist Izzet Dragon got a new form to directly support the guilds in Ravnica as a setting, which I really liked, and so I built him as my first commander deck. This is what that deck turned into. I still run most of the guild gates and some of their support. There's only a few non-gates to replace basic lands. I've also tried to stick to the theme of 2-color, with the exceptions of ramp, 2-color support cards, and Horse Girl Thalia, because making everyone else basically play gates is funny. Yeah, that's why. The deck uses the large suite of 2-color disruption to keep itself safe as it ramps for big combo turns or mid-range threats such as Brago, King Eternal, or General Ferris Rockrick. One of those is based, I will leave it up to chat to decide which before I finish reading this primer. Because of Niv encouraging you to run a more diverse list, the deck is extremely flexible and contains a bit of everything. It's easily pivotable to respond to the opponent's deck it wants to win through swarms of big hasted creatures, draining everyone through debt to the debtless loops and general beatdown, or otherwise winning through war of attrition. At least it does want to win. At least it does want to win. Okay, so if you haven't met second best Niv-mizzet, it's when he ETBs, reveal the top 10, and then for every color pair, you get one. Good cards. You can put a multicolored card onto the battlefield. This is actually hot tech. This is the type of hot tech I love for decks like this, where they're downright okay until you're doing this dog shit, and then they're amazing. Invasion of Ravnica. Oh, sorry. Best Izzet card ever printed. When it ETBs, exile a non-2-color permanent. Mana cannons. Whenever you cast a multi... Yeah, this is normal Niv tech. So this is just blink. Uncounterable. 5-color payoff. Does stuff. Number 7. What? Okay, so is this... So these are my shithead cards, I see. Then we have Horse Girl Thalia just to look at. 33 lands in yet another 5-color deck is very interesting to me. You at least do have the ramp to try to make this make sense. The previous deck had, I think, like 2 ramp spells in the entire deck. This one at least has 16. So it is like half the deck is dedicated towards getting their mana. Wandering Mind. God, 2 Teferis is probably too much. Got a lot of flicker. What the fuck is this guy doing in here? We gotta... Alright, hold on, everyone. I realize that it's... We're looking for 2-color permanents. We cannot be... What funny thing does it do? Scry? Are you giving haste to other people's creatures? Then we have Ramos. We have other Niv-mizzet. Give a creature with haste, haste. My bad, goat. My bad. I did not realize in between our debt to the deathless loops that we were using to kill the table and our extra combats and our untapping all our lands, we were worrying about giving hasted creatures haste. You do in fact have me there. Dak Faden. I am not reading that man in that format. Is this the right guy? Yeah, this is. Oh, I love this guy. This guy's my Oathbreaker commander. That's phenomenal. Okay, debt to the deathless. Oh, loses 2 times X life. That is a little bit fucked up. Lots of recursion. Lots of recursion. So we do have a little bit of a trauma response going on because we have a lot of returning things to the battlefield. Multiple perish. Multiple hate spells. Joshua, the deck does have Invasion of Ravnica. So people know what you're doing when you pull up with this deck based on the presence of Rhythm of the Wild. Unless you really are just about the action to swing Niv-mizzet with haste. Is there a primer? No, there's not a primer. Okay. Listen. Let me take tags off. Let me talk to you about these ads that we're gonna do. Let's talk about these ads, my friend. First and foremost, we're talking about mana fixing. We're talking about Case of the Shattered Pact. You get a basic, but once you solve it, you get keyword soup, which you're already kind of going for. We can't really talk about Guild Pact. Oh no, this one would non-bow your whole deck. Don't do this. Look away. Look away. Look away from this suggestion. But look back for this one. Because I think this is... You are going for tons of 2-color pairs, and this is already Niv-mizzet Goon Squad. This thing is 19 cents. I cannot for the life of me think of a reason you would not want yet another 5-color Niv, who incentivizes you to beat ass, and who also gives you a bunch of payoffs for your 2 colors. I love gooning to Niv-mizzet. Gooning to Niv-mizzet is one of my favorite things to do of all time. And so you do want new Niv-mizzet. I have him. I'm not updated the list with him yet. All right, so definitely do that. Another good one is probably, chat called this out, Binding of the Old Gods. Guys, where the fuck is this card? Oh, Binding. There's no of. Got it. There it is. Destruction, ramp, death touch. You have a ton of recursion for multicolored permanents, so you can loop this multiple times. It may require updating your non-Guildgate lands to be typed to really pay off. Oh, these are all gates. Okay, 18 gates. Some other lands. Yeah, like you could probably get some forest triomes. Oh wait. Well, no, it does non-bow Niv-mizzet Guild Pact, and so I hesitate to put Leyline of the Guild Pact and Niv-mizzet Guild Pact in the same deck. Yeah, triomes would be good for the land base. If this is in paper, I can understand why you don't necessarily want it. Nine Fingers Keen is great to have in here. I think Hospitaller can be cut. 6 mana is... This is a really... This is... What this card says is 6 mana, get a creature back, gain 5 life at best. Because you do not have more expensive creatures. And I think I just think you can do better. Like, I think you can replace this with a better ability that wants to do the same thing. Like, if nothing else... Yeah, this thing's super cheap. If nothing else, victimize and get 2 of your boys back. Oh yeah, it's not 2 colors. So it is like... Yeah, I do get that you want it as a 2-color permanent. I really don't think it's... Are we... Yeah, I mean, we're staying on the multicolor theme for everything else, so maybe we don't break it for Victimize. Ozbadat's Aid. No, because now Osbodat's 8 is just Hospitaller, but not as good. Oh yeah, well, Spelunking's monocolor. And I do think we are staying pretty set on multicolor. Where's that? Let's look for the 2-color gods. Karametra would not be bad ramp. Klothys is okay. Let's see. Where's the one I'm thinking of? I would vote for Xenagos to go for ass beating. Your commander is a 6/6. And so when it comes to guaranteeing that your deck has a win con, this stays within your two color game plan and accelerates your commander damage win con from 4 swings down to 2. You already have flying, so I don't think you need to worry about menace. World Tree is probably worth, and you could call it like Niv-mizzet and his Elder Goons instead of Elder Gods. But can we afford World Tree, and are there other gods that we want? I think Iroas is potentially playable. Ifara is also playable if you go for, especially with the flicker strategy that you have. And with all the recursion, like you have the recursion in this deck of somebody that is horribly, horribly bullied. And this is how bullied kids get their get back, is making people pay 3 life every time they kill one of your toys. So I think you could put 3 or 4 gods in there, and then put World Tree in. How expensive are these gods? Holy fuck. Well, first you may need to rob a bank in Minecraft, and then rob another bank in Minecraft, and then rob a third bank in Minecraft. That is absolutely fucked. Well, I would proxy these shits, to be frank with you. But I do think going for some gods would be good. I think this actually does seem like pretty good ramp in a deck that is all multicolored spells. Extract from Darkness instead of Hospitaller. Yeah, Extract from Darkness could be fun because you can do a little theft too. Which is like, there are times when Hospitaller will be a dead card in hand because you don't have anything to sacrifice. Whereas Extract from Darkness is multicolored and you're stealing, you're taking things. You can actually buy this one. Dragonlord Silumgar. That's funny. These ones really depend on if you like stealing and if you like taking things. I'm a big fan of both. But if you're not, you know, then obviously you're just not. I think Cloud Blazer is probably cuttable because it's really just like, it's very expensive draw too, and there are other things with better ETBs. I think Arwen makes sense. You love stealing? Then get Silumgar. I find it hard to believe the commander ever draws more than 3 cards. That is enough. Finding 3 in the top 10 when you have multiple sources of flickering your commander is good enough. Major Spectre TV, thank you for the Prime sub. Welcome to the dog home, my friend. I appreciate your Bezos bucks. Catching up on some follows. Tumbleweed GG, Angel Raven, Mr. Gibberish, Tide Maker, somebody whose name is getting cut off by my toolbar. Oh, never mind. Roxas of Malice, Runic Sun Dragon, Kuro Soul, Ghastly Grievous Ghoul, and then Major Spectre again. Thank you all for the Twitch follows. Welcome to the doghouse. It sucks that we'll never have another good Dragons commander because every minute while building the deck you'll think I could just be making an Ur-Dragon deck. So true. We do desperately need a Dragon commander that cares about something slightly more specific than is Dragon. Alright, next up we have D2 Vincent. Proliferate is my favorite mechanic, but I hate green. What is wrong with you? So I made a Proliferate deck in Grixis colors. I put counters on things and then sack them so they fling themselves when they die. Also a couple infinite counters that were incidental when I discovered them, mostly LOL. The Phyrexian Undead. Alright, well we do have Mommy heading this deck up, which I appreciate. Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah, this type of proliferation. I get you. 38 lands, very reasonable. Absolute best deck I wanted to see a reasonable land count on. I do love the Grixis players. Card advantage. I like this. This is a good, this is a like very shitty card that is made good by your commander, and that's how commander should be. Little aspirational to put this under card advantage, but okay. You better have a lot of sack outlets with the stuff you are currently classifying as card advantage. Oh wow, this thing is fucked up with Marchesa. Hold on. Okay, sacrifice. Wow, this is... Oh, whenever a creature... Okay, okay. That's pretty good. Yeah, Toothy seems pretty reasonable. And then Yawgmoth is a piece of shit, for sure. Pay 3 life, put a 1/1 counter on. Alright, so that's a, like, on-demand make Marchesa's thing work. I get that, I get that. Double damage for +1/+1s. First instance of Proliferate. Very important. Second instance. Third instance. Fourth instance. We'll call that fifth instance. Sixth. Seventh. I am still waiting. I will say, you do not seem to have made a Proliferate deck. You seem to have made a deck that does do something quite goofy when you start proliferating, and you have enough ways to proliferate that you are charitably seeing 1 a game unless people really, really let you cook. But if anybody is really, really letting you cook, when you lay down Marchesa the Black Rose in your command zone, they have clearly never experienced a gas leak before. Yeah, Astral Cornucopia, when we're probably... If you... Like, this is the type of deck that I would say should run more tutors. You have a lot of things that care about counters, but I don't think you have... I mean, just like the Jolene Rose, this deck is too fair, my friend. It's too fair. This deck is going to church every Sunday. It is cooking apple pie for their parents. It is helping little old ladies across the street. It's not kicking anybody in the shins. In fact, this deck will notice that your shoelaces are untied before the parking lot fight and will warn you such that you can tie them. And if that's where you want to be, I respect it. But most people aren't there. I just put counters on things and then sack them so they fling themselves when they die. Yeah, like I would really say more proliferate for getting rid of some of these weaker payoffs or ramps. You can't do Brionne Stout Arm. Radstorm would be great. Storm, proliferate. I don't know that you have... I don't know that the rest of your deck is set up to storm very well. All will be one. Absolutely a very good one. And then at that point, like, you know, just put the other half in and do Ob Nixilis Captive Kingpin and just win the game on the spot. Like, I think the things you're doing to proliferate could be a lot better than it currently is. Like, this Agatha Soul Cauldron looks to me... Well, maybe is Haven Ghoul Lich... So there's some type of combo going on here that I do not give a shit about. Inexorable Tide is in the deck already. Let's just fix them real quick. Proliferate. Like, Contagion Clasp would be fine. Contagion Engine would probably be even better. Karn's Bastion replacing a land would be good. Gulping Scrap Trap, since it's both ETB and dies, this would be a very good proliferate pickup. Oh, Karn's Bastion is in there. Good catch, Gordon. And then I think as you get more proliferate up, you could eventually do Tekasol. You currently don't have enough proliferation, but like you could 100% make this a Grixis proliferation deck. You instead mostly have a Grixis do stuff deck. You have a Grixis sometimes proliferate, always Marchesa deck. And I think some of the weaker stuff, like Honestly, Shadows of the Past could go. Glenalendra, I think, works good. Nesting Grounds is in here. That's good. Because, yeah, you've got, like, Cornucopia, Coalition Relic, and Everflowing Chalice all really rely on having lots of ways to proliferate. And you have a couple. You have a good, honest couple, and you need to be a little more dishonest. You do not need Bolas's Citadel. Do not listen to the chat. They do not speak for me. You do not need Bolas's Citadel. Hater? Absolutely. Absolutely I am. I'm absolutely a hater. There's no need for it. There's no need for a card that good. Yeah, As Foretold would also be good as you lean more into proliferation. So yeah, like these payoffs are good. These payoffs are good so long as you get a few more instances of proliferate. I think Scornblade Berserker is probably cuttable. You could put in Black Market Connections, but you could also put that into literally any deck with a Black Pip in the commander. So I don't think you want it as bad as you want cards that are specific to this commander's payoff. This also looks... I don't know what this combo is. This looks super fucked up. And consider Christ. Even though I don't technically believe in him. We're going to move on to Dakiran 1. Let me have it. I don't just mean your roast. Asterix, wink. Asterix. You should... God bless you. $2,500, 30 lands. What did you spend it on? The crack you smoked while you made the list? No tags. Not 30 lands, including MDFCs. Glacial Chasm. So 29 lands, because this doesn't tap for anything. And a Nykthos. Troper, thank you for the 100-bit cheer. How the fuck did you put less lands than I did in this deck? This is less responsible mana spending than the fucking Fed. Like, I see you have the Wop Sword in here, which that is a good start. Only deck in the world that doesn't need to cut Soul Ring, because what the fuck is going on with 30... Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Lion's Eye Diamond, Jeweled Lotus. You are going to hell. Grim Monolith, Infect, Chrome Mox, alright, so we have a ton of instants. We do have Gamble. Harvest Pyre is actually sick as fuck for this. if you have the looting to turn it on. But exile X from graveyard to deal X is pretty good. Display of Power's sick. Deflecting Swat is sick. Crushing Pain is okay. Yeah, graveyard stuff is good. Oh my god, discard your hand, draw 3? This is getting a little nasty really quickly. You of course have a Burgie. You of course have a Bloodthirsty Adversary. Classic Dockside. Classic on theme. On the theme of I'm a greedy little shithead who wants to put a bunch of AAA batteries in a sock and hit somebody with them. Semi-ramp. Lelia. Magus. Oh, Neheb the Eternal is fucked up in this list. More ramp. Sulfim. Wheel of Fortune, Wheel of Misfortune. Yeah, does somebody not have cards in hand really often? Yeah, this deck just said, I don't need lands if I can just fucking mulligan mid-game every time I don't have Mana Crypt. Alright. So, let's look at enchantments. Underworld Breach, Virtue of Courage, Return to the Past, Furnace of Wrath. Yeah. That's decent. Okay, these are good. This is a fucked up kick you in the nuts deck. And if we're doing that, let's just get hateful. If we're gonna be hateful, let's stand on it. Because this deck is absolutely unreasonable. I don't think Arcane Bombardment does need to be put in this deck instantly, because Arcane Bombardment is bad. Mainly because it's random, and this deck does appear highly targeted, even if that target is just a sock full of poop that they're flinging at your front door. Glinthorn Buccaneer. I don't know about Glinthorn Buccaneer because it's not an instant or sorcery doing it, so it does not synergize with Immodane at all. We have Fiery Emancipation. Wop Sword's pretty good. World Fire? You are evil. There is a lot of wheeling. I think having an X mana outlet for your 30 land deck is very bold. Oh my god, that high guy. Thank you for the 10 gifted community subs. Currently, the ruler of Dog Heaven. I appreciate your generosity so much. Thank you so much, man. This feels like an incomplete off-meta CEDH list. This is absolutely fringe CEDH. Like, you could never convince me that this is not... This is probably a bad CEDH deck. I don't think it's bad because it's poorly built. I think it's bad because mono red is just not very good in CEDH. And like everybody in mono red is just building Godo instead. Quest for Pure Flame could probably come into the main board. Probably for Roast. Honestly, it's difficult to know without knowing what problems this deck here. We're actually going to play test this deck. Oh, wow. Look at that. One land. But we do have a fucking wheel. So we'll draw. Alright, we have a mountain. We don't need to wheel immediately. We can do one more turn. Boom. We'll get Tim's. Fuck it. There we go. We're so back. Next turn. Boom. So we're only one turn behind curve on our commander. But we can put Tims on them. So we've done 4 turns. 4 turns of nothing. And then we have Imidane with boots. Now we have Nyx. So our devotion's 2. So this is currently even. So this is just 5. Oh, so that is 5, 6. Turn 6, Fiery Emancipation. Turn 7, we would cast this for 6 and deal 18 to face. So this really is just like... This table must give you fucking infinite mulligans, huh? Oh, because... Alright, well this hand is gas. Because we can turn 1 Imidane for our Jeweled Lotus and have a Mana Crypt on the field. And we can use that Mana Crypt for Helm of... Oh my god, so we could have done this a whole lot differently. So let's just fart the hand optimally. We Mana Crypt for Helm of Awakening. We Jeweled Lotus for Imidane. And then we are actually done for turn. Next turn, we fucking... we're not sacking our 1 mountain. So this takes it down to 5. We have 4 mana. Now we like straight up cannot do anything. So I would say we probably 2, 3... So we do X equals 3. No fucking land drop. Okay, we got a land drop. Now we can begin playing the game. And we stop playing the game, I guess. Oh, now we're so back, except we're going to wheel away Fiery Emancipation and Glacial Chasm. So we'll float a red, sack this, Winds of Change. I didn't shuffle. Okay, now we have a better wheel. So I guess we'd play top, and then we'd wheel. And then somehow we win the game from here. Somehow this has to win the game. I mean, does it even? Because we draw. Sure, well, Chrome Mox a fucking land. Guildmaster Andy, thank you for becoming a member of the Dog Home. I appreciate your generosity. Okay, so we can cast... So we could pay fucking 1 for this. Put a counter on it. Free cast Wheel of Fortune. Dump our hand again. Well, we'll say we use the Chrome Mox to play Signet. Then dump our hand again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then we can Dockside. Then we have fucking Wheel of Fate again. This is some absolute crackhead shit. This is not Is It Spellslinger. This is like Is It, but they just have a gun. I think it is probably incredibly mulligan dependent. This is like... Oh, Nerd Girl, thank you so much for the raid. I hope you are doing well today, my friend. Thank you. Lone Wolf, I appreciate that ham butt. No, this is... I mean... This is like watching a football player try to run a half marathon. Like, the first 2 turns can just be so cranked. And then as soon as you stop, it's just draw go. As soon as you're done, they just have a gun and they mag dump and constantly reload. I'm not sure about the reload. I am sure about the mag dump. I am not sure that that reload is constant. So let's see. We have turn 1. Do that bullshit. Oh, and we have fucking Wheel of Fate. So we would just suspend Wheel of Fate for 4. Cast Imodane, turn 2. Get Neheb. Swing Imodane. We'll say we get 4 mana. We'll suspend Siobhan Meteor. And then we're almost down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I would honestly just swing out, and if we could get the 8, if we could get the 8 mana, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 to everybody turn 4. Holy fuck, this deck is incredible. I mean, this is without a doubt, like, this is without a doubt CEDH level with just not quite as much reliability. Guildmaster Andy, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. To get your deck roasted, you have to sign up for my Patreon, which is linked in the channel description of my YouTube, and can be pulled up on Twitch with an ! roast. This is a ticking, abandoned warhead from World War II that just lives in somebody's apartment, and they play Commander on it every Wednesday night, and at the beginning of every game, for good luck, they give it a little tap. And like once a month, everybody just fucking dies. And the rest of the time, you are just sitting there fucking stimming to the drum of this warhead as other people actually play Magic, and you swear to yourself that you will draw the Mana Crypt next turn. Bowmaster and Shelly wrecks the deck. Yeah, but Bowmaster and Shelly are also like meta calls for most CEDH decks. Most CEDH decks live and die on having lots of card draw. Why are the mountains snow covered? Presumably at some point they thought about including, I think it's called Prismatic Lens. No. There's a thing... Oh, Skred as well. Yeah, both Skred and then There's another card you could include where you can exile a land under it, and if you tap that land, you make twice as much mana. Extraplanar Lens. What the fuck? I thought this was a legal card, though. It fucking... It pulled... Why did Googling it pull up the card art? There we go. Alright. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that's the point of it, is you exile one of your snow lands, and then you presumably get a one-sided mana doubler. Yeah. Which this deck really would not mind. If I was going to suggest anything to add, I would add an Extraplanar Lens to this deck. I don't know what the fuck you would cut, though, because so much of this deck is just insane gas. I feel like Grinding Station. Cut a land. True. One more land. Take one more land out. What could it hurt? We're already working with one land starts, so how much worse can it get if we cut just one more land? I don't know if Grinding Station is totally out of place. They have enough graveyard payoffs to make it work, and they have enough artifacts to untap it consistently. I do think it's one of their weaker cards. I also think Grim Monolith is kind of weak, since they don't appear to have a way to Beyblade it. I would say, like, in every situation, Extraplanar Lens probably makes you more mana than Grim Monolith, but once again, we are talking about playing Commander on top of a fucking abandoned World War II sea mine. So let's just take all of this with a grain of salt. We're going to move on to Grath's deck. This deck has two themes. Do Planeswalker crimes, be expensive. The cards are all accurate printings to what I really own, or will be when my latest card order arrives, with deck tags for the language they are in and which cards are signed by the artist. Global tags are the card's purpose for the deck. Plan A is to find Chain Veil somehow and then go infinite. Plan B is to play in Ultimate Planeswalkers until one of them makes me win. So this is like Catholic private school, the deck. It's just a bunch of rich kids aimlessly walking around, hoping that one day everything works out for them. 36 lands, unfortunately reasonable. A shitload of ramp, also reasonable. Couple tutors. Oh, let's turn tags on. 35, baby, this deck is $35,000.
I'ma just
has an actual Time Twister.
It cannot.
Has an actual Tabernacle Pendril Veil. Moat. I'm really leaning into this. I'm really seeing the be expensive theme now.
I'm just scared. I would be scared.
Chains of Mephistopheles, so that you can have a break to call a judge during casual games of Commander. Candelabra of Tawnos. So these are really just in here because they cost $1 billion. Gotcha. The deck is $35,000 and has at least two $1 cards. Has a 50-cent card in. Chain Veil payoff, sure. I mean, listen, it is well known. It is well known that I detest Planeswalkers. I do not like these universal Jaywalkers. I hope that you have at least minor tendinitis in your hands from how quickly you resolve all these triggers. I feel bad for you that you are such a broke bitch that you need to put a 40-cent card into a deck. Alongside the fucking... Jesus Christ. What is Nahiri doing here? Oh, for an artifact to get Chain Veil. Got it. The most charitable thing I can say about this deck is that you are doing a public good, because anytime somebody beats you, and know now that I am rooting for everybody that ever plays against you, but anytime somebody beats you, they do get to go home and say, babe, I beat a $35,000 Magic deck. And it does double as a fucking go bag, a bug out bag. If you're ever at F&M, like this is what like an international drug lord brings to F&M in case they need to disappear and liquidate some money immediately. Magic players having a babe, yeah, right? Are you comfortable?
I am so comfy right now.
All right, they're curled up. I have a babe right over there, but they're busy playing Pal World. German Bayou, Doubling Season, Synod, Thespian Stage. This is... like, without question, somebody could design a webcomic that was just about this deck and the exploits of the Planeswalkers as a typical Catholic high school. That's all it is. Is Elspeth in here? She better fucking not be. She better fucking not be. Lots of Japanese cards. Oh, of course Vorinclex is in here. This is World's Most Deserved Murdered by Finn the Fangbearer on turn 2 I have seen in my whole life. Most deserved Finn kill I have ever seen. Because as soon as this deck starts going, it is never, ever, ever stopping. And it does look like it will take a while to get going, because they have they have eschewed so many cards that would be useful for cards that cost $1 million. Like, this is... This is a Seto Kaiba deck. This is a true Seto Kaiba. I can solve all my problems by having cards that are more expensive. More expensive than everybody else's. Like... Alright, so no mulligans. I guess we'll draw first. Sure, so we'll just land them out. Taiga. Ramp. So we have 3 now. Can we do anything? I mean, we can get Sisei out. We probably wanted to play this Sisei and then start tutoring and then pray, and I have no idea what this deck would tutor. You're a third-rate duelist with a middle-class deck. Yeah, this... Like, dude, this deck makes fun of people that shop at Costco. This deck fucking clowns people who love the $1.50 glizzy. The people that have loyalty memberships to their local grocery store. This deck is absolutely prejudiced. I don't know against who, but against somebody. You do not get this much money without being a little fucked up in the head. This deck lobbies against workers' rights, bro. This deck talks about how it pulled itself up by its bootstraps. You need to have a good credit score to play this deck. I'll tell you what, I don't know if the deck tips though. I do not know if this deck tips. It's got Tezzeret in here and I know that motherfucker doesn't. This deck never tips. Bro, this deck thinks couponing is cheating. Oh my god, I missed part of the primer. Abundance looks like a Bazaar. I played this a while ago choice, and it partially is, but it has fantastic synergy with both Sylvan Library and Chains. That's true. Speaking of Chains, it's hilarious to use Dak Faden's +1 on an opponent while Chains is in play. So they have to draw 2, discard 2. So they have to draw 2. They would get 2 Chains discard triggers on the stack. Oh my god, so it would be draw 2, discard 4. That is fucking rude. Bro, this who fucking made this thing? Bro, Grath takes this deck and brings it up to the LGS counter and asks where their shoe shine boy is to polish all their sleeves. I gotta imagine that this shit is just fucking gleaming. Like they open up one of those, oh, what's the movie? Not Clockwork Orange, but the Quentin Tarantino film. No. Why is it escaping me? Samuel L. Jackson. Travolta. Pulp Fiction, yes. The Pulp Fiction briefcase. And it just sears your fucking retinas with money. The most horrifying thing is this entire deck is worth 1 Bitcoin. All these other comparisons we've made, this deck is worth a Bitcoin. Top loaders only. Grath just wheels in a handcart, and they just have a little machine that shuffles a bunch of like 3-inch by 3-inch like diamond boxes around, and then he plays one every turn. Problem solvers. That is pretty clever. I mean, thank God for the genuinely kind things I will say about this deck. It does look relatively cleverly built. The planeswalkers that are picked do appear to all have intent instead of just super friends. Some things are good. It's shuffled by 3 Korean children. Anyway, and it is a testament to the dedication they have to this one list, because this must have taken so goddamn long, or they sold a bunch of Bitcoin. But what a fucking deck. We're going to move on to the last roast of the night. Major Spectre. MLP, thank you for coming by the stream. Hope to see you next time. Alright. Major Spectre, I recently just got into Magic after a long hiatus, mainly because of the One Ring. I opened like 3 boxes of Middle Earth trying to get one because I wanted to build a thematic Sauron deck. I sadly did not get one, we stay unlucky. I did, however, pull most of the cards in this list at some point in time. I love Lord of the Rings and 5-color commander decks as a whole, so I figured fuck it, we ball, and I made this shitty but thematic Fellowship deck. It isn't good, like even remotely, but I just want to have fun and play cards, man. If there are any changes that can be made without cutting members of the Fellowship, the help would be greatly appreciated. I love this. I hate the commander. We've had another uphill battle. It's another uphill battle because I don't particularly like the commander. I do love that they picked a theme. And they said it's not that good, but I just want to have a good time, and I want to have a good time playing the cards that I like. And the cards that I like is the Fellowship of the Lord of the Rings. It is, however, a disgrace to the memory of the films that there are only 34 lands in a movie series that covered very, very much land. If there were only 34 lands in between the Shire and Mordor, we would have gotten half a fucking book and it would have been over. Put some goddamn respect on the goddamn world and up your mana base. We are 4 cards in without a single Lord of the Rings card. We are 7 cards in without a single Lord of the Rings card. 8. 9 cards in. We have identified our first Lord of the Rings card. And again, what is it with Aragorn players and the dragon we found along the way? Why is Elspeth here? Allies of the Fellowship. Winota?
My girl. The queen.
Here's my Lord of the Rings themed deck alongside CEDH All-Star Winota Joiner of Forces. Alright, we can fix this. No, we can fix this. Rhystic Study and Smothering Titan. Roaming Throne, Parallel Lives. Okay. We're taking this deck into surgery right now. We're taking this deck into surgery. So, the assignment is have fun, play cards. We want to center around the members of the Fellowship. So let's look at the members of the Fellowship that we do have. We have Bilbo, who is making treasures. We have Humans Matter. We have More Humans Matter. Legendaries Matter. Humans Matter. Human Generation. Human Generation. Humans Matter. I know we're not to the Fellowship yet, but we're looking at all the Lord of the Rings cards. Okay, 1/1 counters. Counters. Boromir just is the Fellowship. Ring Tempt. Suspend. I do not know if we're going to make this one work. Gandalf the White's a Flash and Legendaries Matter. Okay, so we care. We care about legendaries, humans, and counters. And to a lesser extent, you know, we can cast sorcery spells as flash. Fucking Jesus, this is evil. Okay. This deck right now, with love and care, is a trust fund baby. The thesis of the deck is a little bit directionless, and the way we have addressed the somewhat aimless thesis of the deck is to surround it with very, very good staples. And what we need to do is we gotta get back down to the things we really care about and try to focus on those things. Like, this is really my Lord of the Rings themed deck and 34 color staples. This is a third of my deck. A third of my deck is flavor, and a third of my deck are things that appear high on EDH rec for the colors red, green, white, and blue. Oh, do we even care about humans? I think we care more about legendaries than we do about humans. Our allies of the Fellowship care a lot about humans. No, known human Vorinclex. Alright, flea market. These are all roughly... Well, there's one that's flavorful. If we want to be flavorful, I would put in some swords. I would put in some swords as, like, the arms and armor of the Fellowship. Like, I think we should care more about these 14 legendaries. And so we can make some foods. Yeah, first strike as long as it's equipped. Oh, I didn't pull any of the swords. Oh, so are you... If you are committed to only having this deck exist with the things you have in paper, it is going to be very hard to make a meaningful number of cuts and adds, because most of the cuts and adds are going to be going away from these things that are just broadly very strong. Cards I had laying around. Excellent. Stuff I found. Vorinclex. Fucking known heater from behind the Wendy's deep fryer. Alright, so even if you can't get swords, Arya has some very good advice. Like, there needs to be a... There needs to be a theme that extends beyond these 14 cards. Even your allies of the Fellowship, I can kind of see it in terms of, like, raising an army. The Lord of the Rings stuff is obviously allied to the Fellowship. Winota is not a bad shout, actually. Winota is probably one of the most justified non-Lord of the Rings cards for this whole, like, going to war theme. You know, let's go to EDH Rec and see if we can find... I think pulling from equipment decks would not be a bad idea. Then Legends decks. Which one is it? It's not Your Tiller. Ink Treader is the colors we're working with. Yeah, there's no reason not to have other Aragorn in here if you want it to be thematic. Not enough non-humans. Got it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 off the soldiers, 16, 17, so we are at 17 with no additional non-humans added in. So I would say there are plenty of non-human triggers to guarantee you at least one. And you have enough humans to guarantee that you hit something. Okay, no, everybody needs to stop hating on Atali right now. Atali is uncuttable. Your deck does not need to care about Atali's qualities. You do not need to have haste. You do not need to care about casting big red spells. Atali is just a precious, precious bean, and you should keep them no matter what. I think if you do want to lean more in towards human soldiers, Ferris Rokirik. Most of the Fellowship is multicolored. Most of your support is multicolored. So if you move away from Winota, Rokirik could go in. It could be raising an army if you want to keep it flavorful. Third Aragorn is also good. Let's look at other... Fey Burrow Elder would not be bad for mana fixing, but it is a little expensive. Rianne would be great here. If we care about... We do care about multicolored stuff, by and large. Rianne would be... Like, I think the direction I would go thematically is... protect and power up the Fellowship to help them defeat the great evil or whatever. And then Hero of Precinct 1 if you want to lean towards humans. Jetmir would also be generically fucked up. Oh, you know what? Replace Boromir. Replace Winota with Boromir. Replace Winota with Boromir, since he's doing a Winota effect probably about as often as Winota will. You can Commander Mustard as well. And then Jetmir is like a pretty good finisher. Catilda would be sick as fuck. Is a human, eventually makes your board very wide to finish the game off. Hajar. Oh, Kyler yesterday. Kyler yesterday becomes an ally of the Fellowship. Right? This is humans. Humans rise up. is now the name of the deck. Yeah, and if you lean really hard into creatures, you can utilize one of the Fellowship's greatest allies, this really big sentient gorilla. That would also be a good shout if you really want to go into creatures. I do remember the gorilla turning up to turn the tides at the Battle of Helm's Deep. That did happen, and we will fabricate the texts to prove it. Akroma's Will is probably too expensive of a finisher, but it would not be bad. The ape tosses Gimli. Mass Appeal would also be a decent thematic card. Very inexpensive. Call for Aid. Thematic is all hell. And then I think the Doors of Durin would also be good. It's cheap, but it cheats you out a bunch of creatures. It's like gathering the Fellowship that way. Oh, Heroes Podium. Absolutely Heroes Podium. That immediately pulls together legendary matters. I mean, even if you don't have a spare doors, it's 70 cents. You can find one for nothing. Even Gimli's Axe is like okay in terms of making sure you get damage through. So yeah, overall, I would say you don't have a theme to this deck. You have the beginnings of a theme with the 14, and then you depart from it very, very quickly. And we should instead return to it, and probably return to it around human synergies and legendary synergies. And then you can make something thematic and bad and much more enjoyable to play. So that said, that is going to be it for tonight's roasting. Thank you all for coming to the stream. Everybody who followed, everybody who subscribed. I'll be live again Monday, streaming some Thunder Junction. Thank you all for coming. I hope you had a good week. I hope you have a good night. And remember to stay toxic.